Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Vinyl Attic, and today we're going to put Nirvana versus Soundgarden, front to back, track by track. Now, both of these albums came out in '91, and they're both from the whole Seattle Northwest grunge thing, and I guess the definition of grunge would be a fusion of punk and metal, heavy rock. Like Kurt Cobain described his band as that they were the Knack being molested by Black Sabbath. So there you go. And another thing about these albums here is each band had a new member on their group. Dave Grohl was on the drums, and Ben Shepherd joined Soundgarden as the bass player. So let's get into, there's 12 songs on each of these albums. Now, the original Nevermind first pressing had the secret track, of course, of Endless Nameless at the end of Something in the Way. And so that's not included here. So we're just doing the tracks that were just labeled from 1 to 12. So starting with round 1, we got Smells Like Teen Spirit versus Rusty Cage. Now, Teen Spirit, I could never get tired of that first opening song on the album once you drop the needle and start adjusting the volume to be louder, because it just has that, there's something about it, I can never get tired of it. And then there's Rusty Cage, which starts off with a single guitar, which is Kim Thale, he said, was using a wah as a filter to make it sound backwards. And it's cool to see it live because they, him and Chris kind of trade off on the riff, like a little call and response kind of thing. And it kicks in, and it, it rocks. I mean, it's full on, very metal, I would have to say. And this was a new sound that they were going for than just this heaviness of Louder Than Love. And near the end of the track, it stops and goes into a different time signature and is a completely different song going out the outro. And so that's unique. But for this round, I'm gonna have to go with Nevermind, Teen Spirit. So round 2 is Outshine and In Bloom. I tend to like to go with the Chris Cornell narrative of, it's sort of, I don't know if it's about being bipolar, but being one way and then just, going manic. And how he describes it is really cool. And it, it hits home with a lot of people. Whereas In Bloom, I believe that song, Kurt was talking about that a lot of the people that in school which were bullying him and jocks or whatnot were now in his audience, and it sort of, I think that's what he was saying it was about. It's a very poppy song. I liked the outshined kind of dark, brooding, heaviness of that song. So I'm going with Soundgarden, Outshined. Now, brings us to round 3, Slaves and Bulldozers, and Come As You Are. Slaves and Bulldozers has a cool bass line by Ben Shepherd, and Come As You Are has a great bass line by Chris. And for this song, for this round, I'm going with Nirvana, Come As You Are. It's just, there's something eerie about that song that's just like, it's very, when I listen to it, it just kind of like, gets me thinking about um, just reflective on like something eerie. I don't know if it's Kurt's tone on his guitar or the video images that I saw with the gun floating around and everything, and it's just it's a very it's a very kind of sinister, brooding song underneath it all. I mean, it sounds, has these really cool kind of open arm lyrics, but it seems like there's something going on underneath it. So, Come As You Are is my choice for that round. Round 4, Jesus Christ Pose and Breed. Now, for this one, I'd pick Soundgarden, Jesus Christ Pose. The drum pattern that Matt's doing is crazy on that. And what I was reading about what Kim was saying about that, Kim Theo, was that, we came in on a jam session and Matt and Ben were just doing this crazy thing, and he was just like, how do I put something into this and play to this crazy piece of whatever this is, and he found his place, and then Chris took it home and put some lyrics on it and everything, and then when he came back with it, the chorus and everything, and Kim was like, wow, what started off as some weird noisy thing is actually a song after Chris was through with it. So I just like the way that was put together. Breed is a cool song. It's very straightforward, and I love Kurt's lead guitar on that. People always like in the guitar aficionado world, try to say that Kurt Cobain is not a great guitar player, and I think a great guitar player is know when not to play, and Teen Spirit is a very good example of that, and this one is just his strengths are his limitations, and he's not trying to be something else, and it's just pure expression on his lead. It's just very gut wrenching. But I think with Jesus Christ Pose, it's just, that whole band, that's one song where every member has contributed in the writing process, and it's very powerful as a piece of music. It's just like I've never heard anything like it. So Jesus Christ Pose wins that. Now, Face Pollution and Lithium. For this one, I'm gonna pick Nirvana, Lithium. Kurt was really great at the subtle verses and the big choruses, and that example is throughout this whole album. Much more prevalent in this one. Face Pollution is a really quick kind of punky type song, but it has some weird time changes on it. They go into like a 9/8 and like a 6/4, which is weird because it's like there's it's hearing progressive music with a punk attitude, which is cool. I've never heard anything like that, but I don't know. Sometimes it's the subtlety of just a song like Lithium. Just it works for me. It just and I like how Kurt's sarcasm is kind of in the his delivery on the vocals. Oh, I'm so happy. It just sounds so like what Lithium is. You're neither up or you're down. You're just kind of like there. And he kind of expresses that really good. So Lithium for that round. And so which brings us to round 6, and Somewhere versus Polly. And I'm going with Soundgarden's Somewhere. It's very kind of psychedelic, and I like how Chris's lyrics, his vocal, when he comes in and he just gets kind of crazy on it really quick. I wish to wish, I dreamed a dream. Or he's just like, and he starts screaming. You know, it's just, it really, when I first heard that, I was just like, wow, it was just, they're really coming at you from at all senses, you know. And with Polly, it was for an album, for a side closure, I thought it was really cool, you know, because the momentum of the album, I'll give Nevermind this, is that, you know, the track listing is for that side is perfect, but dissecting it by song, you know, is what I'm doing here is a different story. But as far as a listening experience from track 1 to track 6 on that side of the vinyl, yes, Polly is a good album closure, side closure. Then Somewhere, but I think Somewhere is just there's so much into that song. It just, to me, it just blows away Polly, so I'm taking that one. Now side 2 starts off with Nirvana's Territorial Pissings, which is just straightforward punk, and SOUNDGARDEN Searching with My Good Eye Closed. I picked SOUNDGARDEN Searching with My Good Eye Closed. I just, as a studio work, coming in with that intro where, you know, you hear the little toy, this is a cow, and this is, you know, all this stuff, and it was a good kind of like, oh, well, what's this about, you know, intro. And Territorial Pistons, you know, I think, yeah, he starts off with Come On Everyone, that old 60s song, everybody get together, try to love one another, and I think, you know, he was saying that, Kurt was saying it wasn't to make fun of that music, it was actually just, you know, in his own way, you know, just try to come together. We all, you know, have I guess with males and females, the whole thing. He was very into women's rights and all that kind of stuff, and you know, and I think he was trying to convey that, but sometimes it gets kind of lost when you know, critics will say misinterpret what that is, you know. But it was really cool what he did on when they played this on Saturday Night Live, and you know, destroyed the whole stage and everything, and that was just the track that they did it on. But as far as the studio thing goes, I'm going along with SOUNDGARDEN on that one. For the next one is Room 1,000 Years Wide by SOUNDGARDEN versus Drain You. This was tough. For a while, this was a tie, because you know, I love the A Room 1,000 Years Wide. I've had the pleasure of listening to the earlier version on the Sub Pop single, which was HIV Baby on the B-side from the Sub Pop single, and so it's been out for a while, but they redid it for this album, and so I've always had like a connection with that song. I always loved that song, and Drain You was really cool, and I like how it just kind of breaks down, and then he kind of slowly builds it up and in the middle, but I'm still stuck on A Room 1,000 Years Wide. That guitar, that droning guitar sound that Kim does while Chris is doing on the second verse is just like, it's just weird, and they bring in a saxophone at the end, and it's just, just insane. And so I think there's a lot more imagination involved with A Room 1,000 Years Wide, especially the song title is just really cool. So that one goes to SOUNDGARDEN. And our next match would be Mind Riot versus Lounge Act. And I'm going again with SOUNDGARDEN on that, Mind Riot. It's just, it's a real slow number. but it really showcased for me when I first heard this, like how amazing Chris Cornell's vocal is. He's very bluesy, very soulful on this song, and I felt like Lounge Jack was just it seemed like the first side was you know, it was very perfect as far as like a perfect album side, and of course all the singles are on that one, and it seems like by the time you're getting near the end of this album of Nevermind on side 2, some of the songs kind of sound the same, you know. They're not really challenging, you know, me as a listener, but you know, Soundgarden is, whether they're throwing in a saxophone or they're throwing in like a little toy, a Mattel toy of this is my new, you know, a rooster says and a cow goes, you know, they're throwing in all these things that are really cool, and it seems like on the Nirvana album it starts to, you know, just kind of being repetitive, you know, and so Mind Riot was a really cool break from that, because it was a very slow number, and it was just, you could actually hear Chris just pour out some emotion, and so that one goes to Badmotorfinger. So now the next one is Drawing Flies from Soundgarden, and Stay Away, right? So again, by this point, I'm like going. It seems like I'm going towards more Badmotorfinger, but it was just a cool rocker. I mean, it just like Drawing Flies. It's just really quick. It was quick sentiment. It was just like a 2-minute piece, and it was just like, okay, well, Stay Away is, yeah, like I said, it was already sounding like Lounge Act, which is it didn't really offer me anything. So, you know, it's kind of the more forgettable ones, and I there was another version of that called Pay to Play. I think maybe that was on here, it would have been different, because there's more, it's not as obscure, the meaning or whatever, but Pay to Play, it makes more sense, you know, of where they're coming from, and as part as being in a band, of the whole bullshit of like paying some, you know, promoter to like, you know, go out there and sell your own tickets to get people in the show. I mean, you know, so but Stay Away is just like, you know, I could take it or leave it, and I kind of left it with this one, which brings us to Holy Water and On a Plane. Now this one, which is weird, because I picked Nevermind for this one. Nirvana's On a Plane. So the reason is because I love the unplugged version, you know, and after seeing the unplugged version and hearing that one, it made me appreciate the song more. So even when I hear this version, it's cool, you know. I'm just like, okay, you know, I dig that song, and so it kind of made me revisit it more, and kind of like explore it more, and I you know, so that one goes to Nirvana, which brings us to our last round, round 12, and that's New Damage versus Something in the Way. And I'm going with Nirvana, Something in the Way. And so it was a great album closure, for one thing. It kind of puts everything together, you know, the bookend of Teen Spirit and Something in the Way. It's very cathartic, you know. I liked how they had the harmonized vocals with Dave on the chorus, and then they bring in a cello. It's really soothing. It's really kind of melancholy, you know. Whereas New Damage, it was just seemed like it was just unfinished, or it was just like, you know, maybe another track would have been cool for an album closure, but New Damage was, it just seemed kind of just like it was a B-side or something, you know. But still a cool song, you know. But as far as going against Something in the Way, which was a very personal thing, which Kurt is talking about his homeless days, and so I'm going with that one. Which what is the score here? We got Nirvana 5 and Soundgarden 7. So I guess Soundgarden is the one that I feel is does it for me. You know, I mean, they're both great albums, you know, of course, but going through it this way, track by track, I tend to like more stuff from this album. Because, I mean, but like I said, Nirvana is a perfect album. Nevermind is a perfect album. It's a very pop, commercial sounding album, more than Badmotorfinger. But I feel like Badmotorfinger, it challenges the listener musically. I mean, they're using time signatures here, and they're using different tunings, you know. But both albums are fun, you know, and they both rock. But, you know, I'm going with Soundgarden as front to back, track to track. So that's my video for today, and comment below what you think is better. I mean, Nirvana's Nevermind album does it for you more, or Badmotorfinger? They're both pretty goddamn great. So, but you know, but Soundgarden is the shit. I'll see you guys later.